Hey everybody, welcome to episode 3 of the Cover Band Show. We have a co-host that's a little under the weather today, so we're gonna do this show. We'll see how far we get. We may have a surprise other cover band veteran coming in. Who knows if he's gonna show? But anyway, but tonight we got a topic that I'm sure if you've been in a cover band that you've experienced this because we all have at one point or another, especially if you've done a lot of shows. But anyway, I don't want to belabor the point, but let me introduce my co-host who's a little under the weather. Dead Skill Music, how's it going, man?
Good, good. I hope everyone's doing well tonight. I have the plague. Thankfully, it's not transmittable through YouTube, as at least as far as we know.
As far as we know.
As
All
far
right,
as
let
we
me
know.
let me say hello to some of the folks. We got Spencer Cron. He is a veteran. He is a gigging guy. He's doing it every weekend, and we're always exchanging
Spencer.
war stories, so to speak. So, welcome to Spencer Cron. Mitch Heyman is in here. Hey, Mitch, how are you, buddy? Dwight Bailey, nice to see you. Larry, how are you, man? Hope everything's good. Janice, how you doing? Dwight Bailey is in the house. Welcome, Dwight. Paul Lou, how you going? Paul Lou is another
Yeah.
little bit different. Does the Christian thing, but tons of pressure. Got to learn songs in a short amount of time and play
Uh,
them.
all,
Yeah,
all, all these names are friends of mine too. These are yeah.
yeah,
I salute to all of you.
yeah. He shared some war stories. Rick Hefner, Marlon Hill, welcome.
Yeah.
There's a new
Hey
name.
guys.
Welcome, Marlon. Nice to see you. Tim Thomas is with us. Welcome. Yeah. So the topic that we're talking about tonight, and something that actually, I mean, 2 weeks ago this happened. So we're talking about gear malfunctions at a gig. I mean, if you've been doing this a lot, you've had stuff that just goes sideways, and there's no worse feeling than something going sideways when you're either just about to start or you're in the middle of a set and you got the crowd going and everybody's right into it, and all of a sudden, you know, the shit hits the fan. So I don't know. So I just wanted to, get into that, talk about some stories about that. I've got a shit ton of stories about that. I don't know, Denskill, do you got anything? What's the most recent one that you've experienced at a gig?
Yeah. Like um like as far as like tires blowing out, like I was my last one of my last recent gigs was with my original band, and uh I blew a string on the guitar, and I never blow strings on guitars. Like I can probably count on my hand like the times that I've actually like breaking a string, but like when you're live and you're in the heat of the moment, like I guess sometimes you can get aggressive. So playing with a floating bridge there, like
Oh shit!
the whole guitar went out of tune, and it's
Whack.
like,
Yeah,
yeah. Same thing happened when you and I were playing that one show, that one
yeah.
audition
Your
thing there.
PRS went to shit. Yeah,
Yeah, so like, I guess word of advice is have a tremolo or have that bridge blocked down. So, floating bridges, like I don't necessarily get along with them now that I think about it. Um, that was probably the most recent thing. But I've had like numerous experiences with pedal boards where like the lead singer gets too excited and like kicks your power cable out of your pedal board or your multi effects thing, or crowd members just stomp on you. It's always power chords, like and then everything goes to shit, right?
yeah, yeah. I have a third surprise guest this evening, another veteran of the gigging world. I want to bring him in right now. This is
Noise.
our good friend.
There he is.
Hey, it's good to
Guitar
see you.
guy.
How's it going?
Yeah,
Oh my God, he's here.
in case we didn't know, because in case anybody was curious, this is in fact the guitar god right here. This is the hack. This is the god. So you're getting
Yeah.
tonight. You're getting your money. So the topic tonight, Q, is gear malfunctions at a gig. So what can you remember is like the worst situation where something happened and all of a sudden you're not getting your sound out.
Well, first of all, to let everybody know, Hack invited me on the show, Ray.
Oh God, here we go.
But there's some stipulations. He sent me this like non-disclosure agreement, like stuff,
Yeah.
words I can't say,
Yeah.
things I can't talk about. He's like, dude, you need to go full Eddie Haskell mode. So
That's out of the way.
the worst one was playing. We were in Madison, Indiana. Great club, probably 200-300 people. First set, 4 sets. First set goes fine. Come back on for the second set. Hit my amp off a standby. Nothing.
Oh man.
And it's a bit of a longer story, but that was, and I had no backup amplifier, no little combo or nothing. So you want to hear the whole story or just that little part?
Yeah. We got time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, string it up, man.
I'll try to make it not too terribly long. So you hit the standby, nothing. Okay. When something like that happens, you can't just freak out. You start at step 1. I know it sounds stupid. Is my guitar turned up? Is my cable plugged into my guitar? Right?
Man.
And then you follow it. Maybe somebody stepped and pulled it out of the AB box or something. So you check everything real quick. Now I'm at the point to where I grab another guitar cable and plug straight into the front of the amp. Still no sound. Go around back, look at my speaker cable. Still no sound. Oh, dear Lord. Okay. We had in our, we had our own PA. So in the effects rack, our sound guy has something called an SPX 50D. It was one of the first guitar processors, right? The D for distortion.
Mm-hmm.
So he pulls that out of the rack, brings it up on stage. I plug straight into that. We had a separate monitor board, which a separate dedicated monitor board is actually pretty cool because each monitor on stage, you have 16 microphones that you can have through each monitor. You get your own
Mix.
Separate mix, right? It's really cool. So he comes out of that into my floor monitor, which is a PV 12-inch floor monitor. I just dropped my SM57 over the top of the woofer and put some duct tape to hold it there. Now this thing, we come up with 2 presets, clean sound, distortion sound. Now with this processor, you pull up a preset, and when you want to change presets, you push it, and then the screen will ask you, are you sure you want to change presets?
Oh shit.
So you got to again. So it's like 3 or 4 seconds before the second preset's going to come up, right? So it's so I've just got a distortion sound. I'm really trying to just ride my volume, just get me through the night, and But before that, like the week before that, we were playing Caddies in Cincinnati, which is right across on the river is that old football, baseball stadium looked like a big fucking spaceship, right?
I couldn't tell you. Okay.
It was a big warehouse. They had a stage on each end, and our stage had 4 18s per side. There's like 3,000-4,000 people in it. Just huge club. I'm playing like, I don't know, some Machine Head by Bush or something. My amp starts changing channels by itself.
Goes to
I'm on the distortion channel doing ga 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 ga. All of a sudden it switched channels, and I'm like, and then it would change back, and it's like, oh man. But anyway, it wound up being something in the effects loop they had to fix, and it was fine after that. But that was probably the worst. And That's why you got to take, even if it's a little combo or anything, something.
Yeah.
If your main amp goes out,
Yeah, I did a gig not this past Saturday. This past Saturday we did a gig that was just off the charts good. But the one before that, we're playing and this wasn't a guitar thing, okay? We're playing and all of a sudden all I'm hearing is toms. Like, where'd the kick go? The kick pedal disintegrated. And it was gone.
oh,
And you're in the middle of
Uh,
the set, right? And it's a drummer thing. It's not a guitar thing, right?
all right,
So like, at the end of the song, you see him, and it was a backup drummer at the time, and he's feverishly trying to like put this thing back together. Now the gods were like smiling on us that night because this is a long story, but we had a backup drummer, had to do a couple of gigs because our drummer was had a medical thing, and he was getting better, and he just happened to be at that gig, right? Where when this happened, and like we're like in mid set, and we look over and he's sitting there. It's like you wouldn't happen to have another kick drum pedal, and he had in his car.
oh, of course, because drummers driving around with a spare kick drum pedal
Yeah,
in their car.
yeah. So he like yeah. So we did one song with no kick. I don't know if you've ever played with just toms and no kick, but it's like it's shit. Okay. So and I mean and the place was packed and everybody, I mean not thousands of people, maybe 100
Yeah.
people, I don't know. But still like, anyways, it runs out. So there was a one song we played with no kick, and then he comes back with the pedal, pops it in, and then we do that, and that saved the night. But the before that, and this is something that you guys may have an appreciation with. I had an incident that happened a couple of weeks before that where like I was, again, absolutely, and this is the Dickens, the place that you saw us at that one
yeah.
time, Dusko, right? It was
Yeah.
freaking packed, like just wall to wall people. You
Do
couldn't
they
move.
do they have cider?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
You can have some. Never mind.
Anyway,
Dennis, what's going on with Dennis? How's it going, bro?
so the place is absolutely packed. Everybody's up, hammered, having a great time, whatever. And my sound was just cutting in and out. It was intermittent, right?
Uh,
And it was like, and then you had sound, then you didn't have sound. So you're playing the song, and it's like you're there and you're not, and then you're there, then you're not. And you're like, oh, please be on at least while I play the solo, right? That because that's the money shot right there is a solo, right? And anyways, so you know, it was happening in the second set. I'm like, okay, maybe the amp is overheating. I turn the amp off through the break. So 20 minutes, the amp's not on. Then I go back and I turn it back on. Oh, it's working. And then okay, so we're like, no. So this is the third set. This is when everybody's hammered, and it's like this is like the
Go time.
prime time. This is prime time, right?
Yeah.
And I get like I don't know 4 or 5 songs in, and it starts happening again. And I'm like, holy shit, am I going to be able to finish the night with this thing? So what? So finally, the amp just said, you know what? Screw you. I'm not working anymore, and I just died on it. Right? Just died. So, and so people are still freaking out. They wanted encores and all this kind of stuff. So the singer, because the singer plays guitar as well, and he does this. He has this wireless thing. I don't know why you have wireless when you're standing in front of your amp, but that's a whole other story. Anyway, wireless. He's like, here, and hands me his wireless thing, and then I'll plug in my outlet. And I played the last, I don't know, 3 or 4 songs through his rig, and it sounded like complete ass, right? Because my rig, it's all peaked, and I mean, I'm a nerd, right? So everything's the way I like it, and that was like, no lead boost, nothing. But we were able to get through the night. But here's a funny thing, and this is the point I wanted to make. I don't think the crowd noticed or cared.
No,
No.
I don't think they had a clue that there was a complete meltdown going on stage. I don't think
No.
they knew. I don't think they cared. And then you're kind of thinking about it like, you know, you, and this
You're
is a
the only
whole
one
other
freaking
discussion.
out.
This is a whole other discussion for another day. But I don't think they cared that I was, playing an SG through a Marshall for the most of that night, and that then this happened, and I had to play through like I don't know what amp he had. It was not a Marshall anyway. But but that's a whole other discussion. But in the grand scheme of things, I don't think they noticed that there was anything happening. I mean, as long as the drums are going and the beer is being poured, they're just there to have a good time.
Yeah,
I mean, they don't
Yeah.
care. They
yeah.
don't care. They don't notice. They don't care. Right?
Hey, squirrel. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty
Yeah.
much.
Well,
It's
I
kind
used to get this, especially at this one club, because the stage was probably about almost 5 feet off the ground, right? So when I would do my like
Roadhouse Blues.
right, so
Yeah.
it's like, okay, we're just gonna burn some time here. So kick on the crybaby and let's blow some cheese. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Dennis knows what I'm saying. Here we go. Okay. The singer's gonna get his beer. Okay.
Yeah, that's
Okay. So I'm working my wah pedal with my left foot, by the way.
That is
uh
the correct foot for anybody tuning in. The correct foot to run a wah is your left. Thank you.
eh.
By the way, Dennis, how's it going, buddy? Okay, so my amp is, I'm 2 4/12s. So it's hit me in the back of the head and my lower back. I'm just fucking hearing it. Dennis knows. So my eyes are closed because I'm just like, it's just there's nothing else except the guitar, So
Yeah.
often people would they'd hold onto my foot and my bottom of my leg, and I would open my eyes and they'd be laughing, and I'd just be like, So this time people are like, I feel multiple hands tapping on my foot and my leg, and I'm just like, fucking, and I finally look down and everybody's doing this. And I'm like, what? Now look over.
Your shit's on fire, brother.
No, better than that. Our sound man has this guy up against the wall by his throat, and his other hand and the guy's hand are holding my 1981 Les Paul Custom.
Uh-oh.
And
Oh,
it turns out the guy, he had to actually take a couple of 3 or 4 steps up on the stage, come kind of behind me and pick it up off my guitar stand. And he was like, I just wanted to check it out. I was just looking at it.
Oh God.
dude, he's lucky he had kept his head on. Your sound man was very nice.
But all I see is the guy with his eyes wide open and his hand around his throat.
Yeah, he's lucky he survived that far.
Oh, our sound man was on it, man. He's like, because he was a guitar player, he knew the guitar, and he's like, no.
Yeah.
Now the worst story, and I might tear up a little bit. So
It's all good. Cool.
playing, I think it might have been right. So you need like the E, A, and D strings, right? Pretty much.
Yep.
Green Day song. Come on. So I start the song out, maybe the third chord. Well, let me preface this with, if we were playing Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, if my strings made it through Saturday night, I was like, whew. Most of the time, I try to change them for Saturday. Well, I didn't. My low E string snaps. Not a disaster, right? So now I'm going to do. I'm not freaking out yet.
Mm-hmm.
30 seconds later, my D string breaks.
Oh, shit.
So now I've just got the A string and the G string. So I've just got an octave.
Yeah.
And what that was the only time where I'm like, okay, I hit the AB box, undo the guitar, grab my Les Paul, put that on, because you don't stop. No matter what happens, you don't
Yeah.
stop.
Yeah. Oh.
Exactly.
So I got the Les Paul and, finished the song. And it's like, okay,
And that's the whole stress, right? You can't
wait a
stop.
minute. Wait a minute.
Oh, oh,
Here's
there's
where,
the truth.
here's where the bad part comes up. Give me a second. The next song is Cold Shot by Stevie Ray. And I have to play it on my Les Paul.
Oh,
Oh,
Dude, I'm trying
no, dude.
I'm in the middle, the phone up on the neck, I'm back on the bridge. I'm like, Stevie, I'm sorry, bro.
so, bro.
Oh, Quentin, that's like that's like an arrow to the heart. Thank you.
It still gives me a little anxiety just talking about it.
Yeah, you can't play Stevie on a Les Paul.
Oh my God.
Oh man.
There should be a law.
But the thing is, everybody in the crowd was like, squirrel.
Yeah.
They don't fucking
Yeah.
know, but it's like,
Yeah.
Oh man.
How about that guy that went up and grabbed your Les Paul? The same gig when my amp was like, possessed, right? And it turned out it was just in case anybody in here, if your amp starts to do that, okay, or it does anything that it's not supposed to do, 99% of the time, you need to replace your power tubes. If you go online, they're going to tell you all. It's like when you go to WebMD, because you gotta, and it basically you've got every disease known to man. It's the same kind of thing. Well, my amp's intermittent, and you do a Google search, it'll tell you you're basically rebuilding your amp. Oh, there's formula on your. At the end of the day, just change the freaking power tubes, and you're probably going to be okay. Because that's
or
what
a
goes
fuse.
south.
Or it's a fuse. It's a fuse.
Well, if it's dead, it's a fuse.
Yeah.
If it's intermittent, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you take the 22 microfarad and put a 21 microfarad. That's what the problem is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That same gig when my amp went to shit, there's this guy comes in. So it was the same venue, right? This guy comes in. So most of the crowd was like 20 something, right? And this guy comes in and he was like older than me. So, he's, I don't know, he looked like 60s, whatever. And he was just kind of a weird looking guy, right? And I had my SG sitting on a stand, and this place was like there's no stage. It's like you're on the ground with the folks, so it's kind of like where almost like sometimes they're almost on top of you. It's kind of a little bit, there's no separation there, right? So I had my guitar sitting on a stand over on the side, and there's like a bench that goes along the wall. This guy decided that the best place for him to sit was right beside my guitar, and then he starts reading my set list. Okay, so I'm like, I'm watching this guy for a minute, and I'm like, so I go over and I go like, "Can I help you?" "Oh, I'm just wondering what you're gonna be playing," And I watched this guy like a hawk. If one digit went on that SG. That guy would have got pounded. Nobody touches my guitar at a gig, So I can imagine if somebody actually picked my guitar up. Like that's the one thing, because man, you don't touch my goddamn pedals. Imagine if somebody went and screwed with your pedals between sets or whatever, and then you go up to play.
Yeah.
I mean, don't touch my guitar. Don't touch my freaking pedals. I mean, that's But the string thing, I had some weird shit happen with strings. There was one gig I was doing. This is going back a couple of years, but the high E, right? So the guitar was in tune, I'm playing and whatever, and then all of a sudden the high E kind of went flat, right? Between songs, you always get the tuner, tune it back up. Okay, it's good. Play the next song, high E goes flat again, tune it up again. And that happens like every song. Every time you hit the high E, you put a bend on it, especially, guitar goes flat. I don't know if this has ever happened to you, but it happened to me more than once, actually. It happened to me twice. And then like, what the fuck? So what happens is the ball end starts to unravel inside tailpiece, right? So, there was one solo that I had to play. You got all these solos. Imagine all of a sudden, in mid-flight, okay, you're gonna play all your solos, but don't play the high E. Just like
Right.
that's,
I've had that happen. Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
right. You can't use the high E, and then I did that up until we got to the break, and then I swapped out the high E, and then I looked at it, and it's like, yeah, you have the turns on it. Like apparently, like if you buy the more expensive strings, they'll put a little bit of solder on there so that it
That's
can't
right.
happen. But if you buy like your regular new balls or your Darios or whatever, it will it potentially, not always, but it can actually unravel inside. You ever had that happen to you?
I don't know about that. I mean, I've had strings pop playing live, but there was one time, some friends of mine were playing, and the guy came up to me. He's like, "Dude, my I don't know low E string or something. I changed it, and it won't tune up right." And they're in the club, and I plug into his tuner, and I hit it open and tune it, and then I hit the harmonic at the 12th fret, and it's just like registering 3 steps too high or something. And another guy was standing there, and he said, "You have a bad string." So we took the string off, put a new one on, and it was fine. So I don't know what made it do that, something, but
That's
it just,
crazy. I've never heard of that. I don't know. I don't
yeah,
know.
I'd never heard of that. In all my years, I never heard of that, but it's just like, you know, it happens.
Yeah.
Is anybody
Yeah.
else still got a little bit of anxiety about the Stevie Ray Les Paul thing?
Uh, what's in the chat? Yeah, maybe.
Oh,
Oh, Spencer Cron says, "Hey, I play SRV and Les Paul all the time."
we got a couple of comments here. Paul Lou says wireless mic went bad once, causing an extremely loud, awful sound to blast through the speakers. The front of house took forever, several seconds to isolate and mute the sound. You weren't picking up AM radio, were you, on that thing? Yeah, that could happen.
No,
Uh,
that totally happens. Yeah.
yeah,
I tried using wireless, but I felt it. I felt the difference. I felt the latency. I just couldn't do it. I'll tell you one thing we also did. Anywhere we played, we had this one club owner was like, he didn't like it a whole lot. First thing we do when loading in is go behind all around the stage and turn off all the damn neon around the stage.
Oh man, that's a great
yeah,
shout.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. So you turn off all my signs. It's like, dude, it's just gonna buzz every time
Yeah,
yeah,
that's a great shout, man. Yeah.
yeah. There was one place we used to play that where the circuit that we were, that we were plugging into was the same circuit that they had their display sign.
Ah.
My God, as soon as you turn on the amps, it's like,
Or the
oh,
ice
God,
maker. The ice maker was always the worst because that thing took like half the power in the building or something. It's like our lights would dim. It's like, what the ice maker? Okay.
kind of saying, hack, that happened to me a few months ago. High E went flat during first song. Had to do the rest of the night on my SG. The ball and wrap was unraveled. Yeah, I'm sure I'm not the first one to.
Yeah.
And I mean, the more expensive strings. I I everybody's all why pay extra money for strings. So there, I'm a Daddario guy. That's all I use. I'm off of Ernie balls completely. I have no love anymore for Ernie balls. It's all Daddario. When I have certain guitars, special guitars, I will spend extra money and I will get the XT strings. Now you're gonna say, "Oh shit!" They're in Canada. The XT strings are like $15, so they're like twice the price of the regular Didarios. But man, those strings will last me forever,
Mhm.
and they never fail. So when you've got those, two or three guitars that are like, they got to be always good and perfect and whatever. I think it's worth it because they will pay for themselves. So rather than getting 3 or 4 sets of Didarios, get the good strings and you won't have issues like unraveling ball. That sounded bad, unraveling balls,
I've
but
used Ernie Ball Super Slinkies for decades, and
No issues.
2 or 3 times maybe I had an issue, or but you hear big time guys they change them or get them changed every night, but they get strings for free. And but seriously, man, if they lasted, and that's playing 4 sets,
yeah,
so 8 sets total live in a in clubs where you were still smoking and you're sweating. But if they lasted for 2 nights, I was happy. If they lasted three, I was like really happy. But
and that's I saw just recently on one of the forums somebody was in there saying, hey, how often do you change your strings? I don't have a I don't have a
right,
time.
right,
Schedule. Yeah.
right.
I don't have a schedule. It's like when they sound dull to me, when they're lifeless, everything sounds like mud. That's when you change the strings. Is that a month? Is that 2 months? Is it 3 months? It all depends. How much did you play it? How much did you gig it? There's no finite number where it has to happen. Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of pro guys will change their strings as a matter of habit.
Yeah.
Um, if you're gigging regularly and you're getting all your strings all gummed up and sweating all the time. I don't particularly sweat a lot when I play but I have some friends that will touch my guitars and I gotta change the strings right after, just because of their different body chemistry, right? Like one of my good friends eats his body chemistry eats through strings, like like no
Mine
joke.
does. Mine does too. Mine will eat gold hardware like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah. Sorry, I got an echo.
Yeah, I got an echo.
Hang on.
Yeah. So what's another
I went to settings. I'm sorry.
no, we're go to settings.
Uh,
You got any other malfunction stories, Dan? You only had the one so far. And welcome, Dan
so,
in New Jersey. And Zach Thon, welcome.
hey
Sorry.
guys, good friends all around here. My favorite gig malfunction moment was uh, it's I shouldn't say it's my favorite because it'll sound mean, but this girl was dancing a little too hard in front of the band one time, and fell down, and her head knocked out my power cable to my pedal board, the monitor speakers, the floor monitors. It was a mess. No blood. She was drunk enough that we just picked her right back up, and she was fine. But it was oh my god! It was the show's going, everything's going fine, and then you hear bzzz, and then and then everything came back up. Um, so yeah, she bounced back like a trooper. Probably I'm assuming some kind of head trauma happened there. But yeah, she knocked out the power. When it comes to playing gigs, I try and keep things simple. I don't like using crazy pedal boards or anything like that. So if I can, I use multi effects and all that stuff just to make life easy. But she killed the main power to me, and knocked out a bunch of stuff.
So I
Um,
shot
so I took her outside, and I
Hey, don't do that.
no.
her outside, gave her a what for?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I've had numerous bad gig experiences, mostly drunks and assholes just being getting on stage, or
Yeah.
grabbing a singer's mic, and it's
Yeah.
this isn't karaoke, you know what I mean.
I learned a long time ago that I used a boom stand for my mic, right? But the way I set up my stand was it'd be if I'm, facing out it's a tripod. I didn't like the round bases. So I put it to the left of my pedal board so the mic would come up and in front of
That's
me.
how I do it.
Ah, right.
Turn it this way, fucking people, and they're close enough, they'll hit the mic and fucking bust you in
And
the
then,
mouth.
yeah, your teeth will
Yeah, yeah.
get it
Yeah.
right in the teeth. I've seen lead singers get their teeth like
Yeah.
smashed
Yeah.
out.
Yeah. We've had that happen. Yeah.
Yeah, man. You
Another
gotta be
thing I
careful.
always did was because one time I went to check my mic and I'm holding my guitar, and I swear to God, I saw blue flames come out of my mouth and fucking.
Oh,
I
Oh,
didn't,
yeah.
I
not
didn't
ungrounded, eh?
out, but I was out of it for a while. I was out of it for several. But I
Yeah.
used to take a
Yeah.
$15 outlet checker and plug into all the outlets where we were to make sure grounds weren't bad or.
Well, you
Oh,
can. I'll give you if you plug in your stuff, right? Just turn it on. Like, don't play anything. Just turn it on, and if you get a crazy ass hum,
Yeah.
odds are you're gonna get bit.
I didn't
From
have to. I swear to God. After that, I used to do this with my electric guitar. I would hold it like this, and I would touch it to the microphone. If I saw little blue sparks, I'd be like, wait, hold on."
yeah.
And ladies and gentlemen, in the chat is my bra R2 R3 locking nut. What's up, bra?
Hey, what's up, bro?
What's up,
Yeah,
bro?
I got.
'Cause you'll get the shit shocked out of you, and it
Yes.
only takes one time.
Oh,
That's all it
Yes.
takes.
it's happened to me. My second ever gig, it was like getting punched in the head.
Yes.
Like something wasn't grounded. I went up to a mic and it's like bam.
It's like,
Yeah.
okay, I think I just
You
shat myself.
Yeah, like yeah, and like you have no idea that it's coming, right?
Right.
I
Oh
yeah.
God, it's
I
scary.
had that happen, and it's like you go up to the mic to do. Well, in my case, it'd be a backup vocal, and like boof. It's like somebody just kicked you in the head.
Yeah.
You're
You're
like, what
holding onto your guitar, going like this.
you know?
Just put a little mic cover over it. I don't think so.
Spencer's
It's like, here's
asking.
my mic. I'm back here singing background vocals. Hey.
Yeah. Oh, you put. You know what? You put a sock on it. That'll.
No, I'm still
No.
not getting that close to it.
Spencer's asking. Hack Dennis Quentin. How many drunk chicks does it take to sing me and Bobby McGee? Speak drunk chick.
We didn't do that song, but we did Brown Eyed Girl. And when you change it to like Blue Eyed Girl, they're like, oh my God, I have blue eyes. Oh my God.
This was so
Yeah,
sweet.
we worked on that for an hour.
Yeah. The drunk chick thing, I mean, I've had beer on my guitar, I've had beer on my pedal board. It's like, and and that whole thing, there was this one place we used to play. So when we would get off the stage, this DJ would go up, right? And he would, play shit off his laptop way louder than we ever were.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
way loud. Like, you couldn't even be in there. It was ridiculously loud, you know. And because he'd be up there on stage, and and we have our pedal boards and all, everything around, you know, these drunk chicks would get up there and walk on the stage and more like wobble on the stage and go and try and talk, whisper in his ear to play this song or that song. And meanwhile, their fucking drinks are spilling on our boards and guitars. And, then we go back up to play, and it's like, how come my friggin' Les Paul is sticky? What happened? Like, oh yeah, we've had that. One of the, one of the scariest things that happened, man. We were playing this place, and it was like the first time we played this place, and it was a really cool place, and you kind of wanted to do a really good job because you wanted to go back. Kind of a high end place. It was on Avenue Road, Drums and Flats. I don't know if you know what that is.
Yeah.
Anyways, so we were playing this place the first time, right? And it's like, okay, all right, we're all geared up. Everything's ready to go. We did sound check. Everything's good, right? And so we go up to actually play the first set, and I have no sound. I'm hitting the guitar. I'm like, what the fuck? Nothing's coming out. I'm like, holy shit. So, you go to the pedal board and you start like, trying to figure. So I'm ripping pedals off the board, like, fuck this, fuck that, whatever. Trying to isolate what was wrong with it. and then I got a sound. I got a sound. So somewhere between pedal one and like I've got like
Oh,
7 pedals, somewhere between one and up to 4 they were good, and then from that point on they went to shit. Right. So all it is those little, and that's what those little 6-inch little cables that you use to go from pedal to pedal. You go out and you buy, the cheapest ones because there's, you need so many of them. It's like, I'm just going to get, these hard molded plastic ones because they're cheap, whatever. But I'm telling you, man, there's a reason why you want to get the better ones because those ones will not fail. And I had a bad cord in there, and
oh.
I managed to get us like literally I'm like the sweat's just pouring down my face. Right, I managed to get a sound, and not the sound I wanted because half my pedals were off the board, but I got through the first set, and then it was like then the whole break I'm like diagnosing which one, and I found the bastard. It was one of those little 6-inch cables that one
Yeah.
would. Another time it was mid set and I lost all sound. I was out, and I'm like, son of a bitch. And it's like, okay, out of the board, straight into the amp, and that amp, it was my Hughes and Kenner, so it's got a crunch and a lead crunch. So I was basically when the solo came, I turned around and I pressed the lead crunch pedal. So
Yeah.
I pressed
R2,
it again, back to the crunch.
R2 just said a drunk chick threw up on his guitar player. Oh God.
Oh,
Yeah, I've seen
right,
that happen.
Oh,
right. R2 wins the prize.
oh
I
my
forgot
God.
even throw up.
I've seen that happen. Yeah, I've seen that happen.
Oh God.
Yeah, I
Oh,
was actually on a bass player at my friend's show.
well, bass
Uh,
player. I mean,
Probably a bass player.
yeah, it was just I guess it's okay because it's just a bass player.
A bass
But
player.
yeah,
Oh,
this chick
bass-
literally came out and spewed right all
I
over
will
this
say
dude.
this in all my years of gigging, and I'm really proud of this. I've never fallen down on stage.
Really?
Never.
Wow,
And
that's admirable,
that
dude.
was a big thing I always kept in my mind. Of course, if it happens, you just laugh about it. Maybe you lay there, keep playing, but it's like I never fell down on stage.
I don't think I have either. I didn't know that was a thing. Not to
Yeah,
fall on stage.
I know of at least two occurrences where I've fallen down and tripped up on shit. That's just because we're going
yeah,
buck wild.
yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. No,
yeah,
I
no,
haven't.
no one, and actually one time was because some asshole like came running up on stage and tripped over my shit and then tripped
Yeah.
me up.
Oh, that's
So that's happened.
Archie
Yeah.
said that's the best show ever until that happened.
Back in the day, like like there's no there's no rules, there's no stages, like,
Yeah. Oh, you're on ground level. That's the worst, man.
I hate being on ground level.
I
And
hate
you
being.
know what else
yeah,
really pisses me off is when you have, even when you have a stage and you got folks that decide, and while this guy's playing, this is the absolute best time to start a conversation. And the guy's just
yeah.
standing and he's yelling in your ear, and you're like,
Oh
dude,
yeah.
I'm working here. I'm working here. Can
Well,
you not see that?
the stage is just big enough to get that 5-piece drum kit on you. You're on the dance floor. Oh, great.
Yeah, yeah. I've had that too, And yeah, and what kills me is while this guy's having this conversation, right? I'm looking at the bouncer and he's just like looking back and it's like nothing's wrong. Dude,
Yeah.
you want to get this guy off of me so I can freaking do my job? Eh, yeah, there's a lot of that. A lot of that.
Yeah. Hey, I don't come to you when you're making a Big Mac and start talking to you.
Yeah, exactly. But you can't say nothing because
Right.
you're
Right.
fan. You can't respond, right? I mean, I've had situations where like I'm playing and this guy's like, and you're every time you get a chance, you're pushing the guy like, get away from me.
It's
It's
like
like,
tapping you on the shoulder while you're playing and singing. Hey.
hey, away from me, man. Oh, the funniest was this was in the last summer. I had again, this guy, he was hammered out of his mind, right? And he thought, again, the best time to have a chat was while I'm in the middle of a song. And he's there with and this guy probably weighed, I don't know, 90 pounds soaking wet, right? And I didn't mean to do this, right? I didn't mean to be violent, right? Well, we're playing whatever, and and I'm like I'm saying like, hey, like this, right? And he never got the message, so I pushed. The guy went like 6 feet, right? Landed on his ass, right? I didn't mean to do that, right?
Yeah, but I know you're doing this, but you pushed him with your foot on the side of his face, didn't you?
No, no, that did not happen. Okay,
But
and
pushed him.
again, and this was another place with bouncers that are like, yeah, yeah, everything's fine.
Uh,
Yeah. So,
uh,
anyways, but so then the guy comes running back up, and I think, oh shit, now he's he's
uh-oh.
pissed, he's drunk, he's gonna
Yeah.
try and fight me or whatever. But this still freaks me out. You know what he did? He gets on his knees in front of me and he starts doing the "we're not worthy."
Oh my God.
That's how blitz this guy was. It's like,
Oh
dude,
my God.
oh my god, have another beer and go sit in your chair. Oh, crazy shit, man, crazy shit. You know, yeah,
Yeah, I try and avoid situations like that, like in terms of like equipment malfunctions. These days, like I'm running like my quad cortex through a solid state amp. Like I don't want to mess around with tube amps for my cover band stuff. Like I'm strictly going like digital. Like I don't want to mess around with pedals anymore. Like I love pedals and I use them all the time at home for my for my stuff. But like you were saying, Hack, like there's too many things that could go wrong with those little cables, and like you get too many pedals, like it can get crazy, right?
yeah.
If I'm going to be gigging anytime soon, it's going to be with like a multi effects, or like just a minimal rig as possible. um like I don't want to be dealing with transistors or sorry, tubes blowing up and stuff like that. um
And nobody
Running.
cares, and nobody's gonna notice the difference.
Yeah, nobody. Yeah, I can just literally at home program up a bunch of patches for my
Yeah,
songs, and
and
that.
I went through that whole thing. I had an HX Effects, as you know.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the one that you sold me that I ended up selling
Yeah.
selling.
And uh, oh, this is the greatest. Oh, they got like 1,000 pedals in one unit, and I did exactly what you said. It's like, okay,
Yeah,
I programmed it for this, programmed it for that, and
yeah,
so I had all my settings in there, and with my lead. So basically, it was a mock pedal board because for this
yeah,
song, here's my and then here's the lead boost, and I did all that, and then you think, okay, this doesn't sound too bad, and then you take it to rehearsal, and
yeah,
it's like, eh, not quite there,
yeah.
not
Uh,
quite
uh,
there,
uh,
not quite there, you know. And I mean, this is a whole other discussion, but as many uh overdrives that it had. I mean, it had a King of Tone. I remember it had the Prince of Tone too, I think, and
yeah, yeah,
all this. You know what? None of it came close to one pedal that I had at the moment. Like,
yeah.
just didn't cut it. And yeah, if I used that in front of a crowd, they wouldn't have known or cared. But
Right.
and I've always, I mean, for me, it's always been, if the tone is good, I will play better. If the tone is bad, not that I'm great to begin with, but I'll play even worse. It
Yeah.
ha it's like, I did a gig last weekend and I pulled out all the stops, as you know.
Yep.
I took out all the big guns. I was playing through a Friedman head. I had my Friedman, my 212,
And your pedals. Yeah.
my full. pedal board, the whole 9 yards. I was playing a 339. It sounded ungodly good, right?
Yeah.
And so I played my ass off. I played to the best of my ability because every such thing I hit just sounded glorious, you know. But if I was up there with, I don't know, like a little solid state amp and a multi effects that didn't sound quite right and whatever, I would play like shit. I wouldn't feel good about it. And then the other thing, does that translate to the audience? Because, the audience might not hear, but they notice that, man, you're not quite as enthusiastic. Like you're not up there like rocking and loving it. You're up there like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
There's
So
like a there's
I
like
think,
a biofeedback haptic
yeah,
thing that happens with playing through real amps and pedals.
yeah.
Um,
I mean, it's for you, but then, if you're up there and you're enjoying it and you're getting off on what you're hearing, if you're having a good time, they're having a good time. But if you're up there and you're just struggling and fighting and it's not quite what I want, I think they pick up on that.
Well, I was talking to R2 R3 Locking Nut about this.
Oh, your
R,
bruh?
R2 right now is going, oh God. And he told me that that it's kind of like breast implants. I mean, sure, I'm getting to second base, but it's just not the real thing.
All right.
right.
No,
Yeah.
I was talking to Dennis about this, and the whole time Dennis is just like,
Oh dear Lord.
I remember playing, my, I got to think of what Hat calls it, my Sunny D through my Didgeridoo,
Yeah.
and it's got those, it's got the active EMG, the retroactive EMGs, right?
Right.
And then I grabbed my Invader Strat or something, and it's like, even through the Didgeridoo, it's like, oh, okay, there it is. There's some passive pickups. Even that noisy single coil, it's like, there it is. So
Yep.
imagine plugging that into a real tube amp at a stage volume through a 412. It's like, I'm getting a boner.
Oh
There,
man, I've arrived at that point.
there it
Yeah.
is. So like Hack was saying, it's glorious. Sure, your fractal and your quad, I don't know what it all sounds great until you go plug straight into a tube amp through a 412 and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
There's all the feel and the mojo and okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
But your audience doesn't give a shit. They don't
They
hear
don't
it.
care. It's all for
They
you.
They don't hear it.
And I had the benefit. I mean, Quinn, you played big places to a lot of people. I'm playing. I think Saturday night I played to maybe 100 people. I'm playing the smaller places. Anyways, but this particular place I had, and this is rare for me. They actually had a house PA. They had monitors and the whole 9 yards. And to be playing, that I had a little Sennheiser on the amp on the cab, and I'm listening to myself coming right at me through the monitor,
Right.
and that tone. Oh my god!
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I'm gonna have a good time because it sounds like this
Yeah.
is a shit right here.
It's so different, man. It is so
Yeah.
different than, yeah. Second base. You're still getting the second base. You're still playing, but it's just not the real thing. R2's like a poet when it comes to stuff like that. R2's like, I never said that, everybody.
Never said the second base.
But it's like it's just the moving air through a couple of 412s.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just
Glorious is the word.
it's like a well done ribeye with ketchup. It's so good.
All right. You just killed it with the ketchup. You know that, right?
I think R2's Hack's gonna block me here in a second.
Yeah. Oh, we're getting near the hour, and usually I don't go longer than an hour. So I'm just gonna go around. So any last minute malfunction stories or things you want to add, Dan? You got stuff coming up? Anything you want to plug?
I don't think I have
Not.
any more. Just when you're playing live, you're gonna have these malfunctions. It's it's how you handle it. You can't freak out because it's gonna happen.
Yep.
And even if it happens in the middle of the song, the cardinal rule is you never stop playing. You never just keep the singer keeps going. You never stop. Um, just be aware they're gonna happen. Like Hawk said, don't have a $4,000 Les Paul through your $3,000 Friedman and your $200 pedals, and you have 99-cent cables. You deserve for something to go wrong. You do that.
Yeah.
You don't have to have $1,000 solid core silver cable, but just get quality cable. The rest of your gear is quality. Get quality cables.
Yeah. It's always as good as its weakest link.
And by the way, Dennis, what's up, bro?
Well, you done, Skull? Anything you want to say in closing, or anything you want to plug coming up?
Not really. I just thanks Q and Hack for having me. It's been a great hang.
All right, cool.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Hack. I didn't sleep through this episode. I think I was a few minutes late, but
Yeah.
and I don't think I was exactly Eddie Haskell, especially
No.
with the
No,
RT
you're
story. So I hope I don't get you demonetized.
Here's the line. Here's Quinn. Anyway. Yeah. No
Well,
worries.
you also see the chat Hack and I had before. He's kind of like,
we heard about that before you came in.
oh yeah, what was the quote that I came up from you?
I don't want to be Eddie Haskell or something. All right. Anyway,
please behave. Okay. Yeah.
thanks everybody for watching. We'll see how these videos go. This is our third one in cover band show. It's something Den and I launched about 3 months ago. If we get enough views, we'll do a fourth episode. But
I think they're great stories, and there's a lot that people can really learn about playing live.
Yeah, I hope so. That's the whole point of this.
How much it goes into just setting up and being ready to play live. It's just it gets I was talking to Hack about, do you ever go to places like, okay, I've never played here before, we got booked in here, I'm gonna go by just weeks before just to see what the inside of the place looks like, what the stage looks like.
Yeah,
that kind of shit. I would get real nervous if I didn't know how the stage was set up. And so
what I do is I'll go to the website of the place and I'll look for photos of the stage, because that'll give me an idea what I can take. Can I take the cab? Is it strictly the combo? If I got a big huge stage, I can take my Firebird because it's 15 feet long. If smaller stage, then I'll take something else.
Now Hack also goes to the kitchen menu to see if they have that beef on it.
Yeah, that's like
a good meal.
Yeah, that's an inside joke.
That's an inside joke. It was funny, but
yeah. If you knew the joke, it was funny because I always order the same thing. When we have a free meal, I always order the beef au jus, but as Quinn pronounces the beef au jus.
Before we go, I did want to say to R2, what's up, brah?
What's up, brah? So I guess thing is, shit's gonna happen, just like in real life. Shit's gonna go sideways, and the most important thing is just keep your head, stay cool.
Yeah,
you're probably freaking out. They don't even notice. So don't.
But you gotta bring extra cables, extra batteries.
Yeah,
extra cables, extra you know what?
Know your gear.
Yeah.
Okay. A backup amp. I've played entire gigs off those little mini Vox. Those little mini Vox amps that they make. I played an entire gig that running through a 212, and I got through it. Right.
Us three old guys, we know what we're talking about.
The mini amp. Bring a backup guitar. Always
bring a backup.
If you don't put it on the stage, leave it in your car or somewhere close by, because unraveling strings, broken strings, like you never know, because you cannot stop. You
Right.
have to keep
You
going.
have to keep playing. Like,
Have to keep.
I've had guitar straps fail on me. Like
Yeah,
stupid shit like that.
yeah, I've had
Like,
that. Too.
like stupid stuff that you'll never like. Oh my god, why is this happening now? The
Guys,
show, the
I
show
gotta,
must go on.
I gotta take an anti-anxiety pill because I still can't get that Stevie Ray Les Paul out of my.
Quinn, it'll be
Yeah.
okay.
Dude, I'm telling you, as a guitar player, if Dennis was out there, he would see me going,
Hey, dude, bro.
"Sorry, Stevie, I'm sorry, Stevie."
All right. In 2 weeks from tonight, check out the Hack Show. We're doing an album, 5 favorite album ranking. This month we are doing the Rolling Stones, and it'll be myself, Pete Pardo, and Martin Popoff. So check that show out.
Whoa.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
That
My
was brilliant,
favorite,
Quinn.
my
bring
favorite,
lots of guitar picks. Yeah, bring lots of guitar picks.
favorite singer, Mick Jagger. All right, guys. Have a good night. You guys hang out for a second. We'll
All right,
see you.
later, guys.
Take care. Good night.